Hi, welcome to the Mass Shinobi podcast. I am Firehawk the Mass Shinobi, and I'm excited to welcome you to this podcast, and really excited about all the different topics that we're going to talk about. Obviously, today we're going to obviously talk about what I've been watching, some of the anime news that's come out this week, and then I'll kind of tell you how I got in anime, like my story, like what got me in anime, and I'll share that with you today. And then obviously we'll talk about anime crushes, and so those are all the things that we have to look forward to on this podcast. Again, welcome to the Master Shinobi podcast. I am Firehawk the Master Shinobi, and I welcome you. Thank you so much for being here and listening to this podcast. It means the world to me. So let's dive into our first segment. I like to start off with what I've been watching. What animes have I been watching? And some of these have maybe been out for a while. Some of them might be new. I would consider myself more of like a newer anime fan than older, because I probably have watched more newer animes than I have watched old school animes. I have watched some of the older school, so like Naruto, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Cowboy Bebop, some of the older ones that are out there. But I do have a lot more to watch. But I've watched the majority of new animes that have coming out. Black Clover, Demon Slayer, Hell's Paradise, Chainsaw Man, like pretty much like all the newer age ones. I've seen them for the most part. So I would consider myself a newer fan, but I just really love anime, so I do watch a lot of different anime. But I do love romance, obviously, and so sometimes I'll go through a phase where there'll be a week that I'll watch like a bunch of romances. So this is always something, you're most likely, when I do this every week, there'll probably be some kind of romance anime in there, because that is just me. That is just what I like to do, and I love romance animes. So this week, I would say I have a lot of romance animes that I have on this list that I've watched. One of the first ones that I watched this week was Gamers, which obviously, sadly, Gamers is only going to be one season. So after that, if you want any more or a continuation of story, which happens a lot in romance, you'll have to go and get the mangas or the light novels or whatever the case may be. You'll have to go get those things, so that way you can read the continuation. You could finish the story. But Gamers is a very sweet romance. Basically, typical romance where the girl is super popular and the guy's kind of a loner. That's kind of typical in the cases. But what I like about Gamers is there's a side friendship and different side stories that I think are really kind of unique and interesting to add to how good this anime is. And so I did really enjoy this. And if you really like video games or you're a gamer, I think this would definitely be an anime that fits up your alley, because everybody's in the games and they talk about gaming and different things like that. So I think it is definitely up there, and I think that's obviously, we do see gaming a lot in animes because that's the way the world is going. Obviously, everybody loves gaming, and it's something that's going to be around for a long time. So definitely was a good anime. Like I said, if you want to finish the story after the one season, you're going to have to go get the mangas and finish the story, which they haven't translated a lot of them into English yet. So there's a bunch of volumes still out there, but they haven't translated them to English yet. So, and hopefully they do. But I think they've only done maybe 3 or 4 volumes so far of the story. So I don't know if they'll have any of the continuation of the story in English yet. So you'll just have to wait like the rest of us. But it was definitely, I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely thought it was a cute romance story, and I enjoyed the story, obviously. That's the second anime that I watched this week is Life. Typical long names for animes. Obviously, there's tons of long names. This is Life with an Ordinary Guy who is reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. So this is a story basically of getting up into a different fantasy world, and two guys. One of them is turned into a girl, obviously, and so it's kind of their journey. And again, there's only one season, and so if you want to continue the story, you have to go get the mangas and the light novels. The story does continue, and they're still continuing the story, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any more anime, which happens a lot in romance. So a lot of times they only put, one season out, and then that's it. So you may have to go read mangas and stuff like that. So just to get it out there and stuff. So it does happen quite a bit, but this was definitely a cute anime. I thought it was nice, and it does highlight, obviously, struggles of, I think a lot of trans people can relate to it because of the struggles of maybe feeling awkward at times, and he's trying to get, used to his body and being a girl and da-da-da. And so I think it is a sweet story, and it's a cute story. So definitely worth watching, especially if you're LGBT. It's definitely worth watching, and I think it's a good one. And I'll probably continue the story and get the mangas and the light novels when they are come out. I'll try to catch up to where they are now. So that's one of the ones I've been watching. Next one I got addicted to. I just got super addicted to was Blue Lock. I couldn't stop watching it. I really loved it. It's really well done for a sports anime. And if you love football or soccer, whenever you want to call it, I think this is such a cool, well done anime. Even if you don't, it's still well done, and it's just so cool to see the growth of the characters, and again how he lifts up the other guys around him and makes them better, and teaches them not to give up on themselves and on their dream, and and in reality he's also learning to be true to himself, and not they're trying to make him into a monster to become this number one striker, but he wants to still be true to himself and true to his friends. And you see all those different elements in Blue Lock, and I think it's really cool. It's a really well done anime. They have announced season 2. They haven't announced official when it's going to happen, but they have announced that they are going to do a season 2. And of course they've also announced that they're going to do a Blue Lock movie. So it's kind of a spin-off movie. So that is officially coming out in April, which there's so much anime coming out in April. It's going to be anime overload because there's so many different animes coming out in April. So April is going to be the month for anime. Like, you're going to have so much anime that you're going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do with it. So this is another one that's coming out in April. They have announced it. It's April. I think an official date is like another April 19th or something. So it's going to be in April. So that'll be cool. But Blue Lock is definitely worth watching if you like anime, and especially if you like football or soccer. Whichever you want to call it. Most of the world calls it football. America calls it soccer, and everyone thinks that we're correct because it's America. That's how we're supposed to think. But I don't think that at all. I think the rest of the world calls it football, and it makes sense because they actually do play it with their feet, where our football is not barely play with our feet at all, mostly hands. So, but anyways, it's definitely a good anime. I definitely enjoyed all the stories, and I can't wait to see more. So it's one of those animes I got sucked in. I couldn't stop watching it. Another one of those animes I got sucked into is um, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, which they have already announced that there's going to be a season 2. But if you're one of those people that don't like watching animes that are not dubbed, then you'll miss out, because this anime is not dubbed. It's only subbed on Crunchyroll, so you have to watch it subbed. So to me, I do both dub and subbed, but I'm also trying to learn Japanese, so I do try to watch more subbed than dubbed anymore, just because I'm trying to soak up all the most that I can get from trying to really learn the Japanese language as I teach myself and I go through the lessons and stuff like that. I also want exposure to Japanese, so I enjoy watching it subbed or dubbed. I think if you're one of those people that are like, I won't watch it unless it's in English, then you're missing out. This anime is definitely worth watching. You know, I think it is such a cute story. Once again, he's kind of a loner, and she's kind of supposed to be Miss Popular, but in her sense, she's still kind of alone, and so she starts doing stuff for him because they live next door to each other. Where they go to school and stuff like that together, and it's just a really cool story. They're kind of together before they're actually together. They just don't really know that they're together. They start doing kind of couple type things together, like holding hands and stuff like that. But it is definitely a cute story, and I can't wait for season 2. It's one of my favorite, I would say, one of my favorite romance animes that I've seen in a long time, because it is so super cute. And I definitely really enjoyed it. So it's definitely worth going out there and watching. And so definitely watch it. Get over, if you're one of those people that can't get over if it's subbed or if it's not dubbed, then you're missing out. I think you should be able to watch. If you're an anime fan, you can watch anime dubbed or subbed. It won't matter to you. Either way, you'll watch it just because you love anime. So, I love anime. I will watch it no matter what form comes in, sub or dub. It doesn't matter to me. But this one is only subbed. But it is probably one of the best romance ones I've watched in a long time. It is definitely by far one of my favorites. I freaking fell in love with it. It was definitely such a cute story, and it's another anime I could not stop watching. I just wanted to watch more and watch more. It's a really good anime, so definitely don't miss out. If you're get over not watching it subbed, and watch it. If you like romance, then watch it. All right, now we're moving on to the segment of news. Like, what news is out there? I only put a couple. I mean, obviously there's always tons of anime news, and I only like to share a couple. Obviously, why I'm talking about which ones what animes I watched. I also talk about if it continues, or if there's new seasons, or whatever it may be, so that way you know that just like me, I answer questions of if you want to see more, or how many seasons are there. Some of those animes are only one season. That's all you're going to get. Some of them we know that there's more coming. So some people don't want to get sucked into an anime and not have more, which with romance, a lot of times you don't get more. Sometimes you do get lucky and you get one that continues on going and is really popular, and it continue to do the story, and that is amazing. So there's a couple out there that are really well done, and they're going to give you more seasons for sure. Big news with Spy Family is that it's made 6 billion yen in its first, actually 59 days, less than its first 60 days in theaters. It's been breaking records left and right in Japan. around the world. And we know that it is coming to the United States on Crunchyroll in April. I believe the date is April 19th, when it's coming to Crunchyroll, into North America. Dates may vary depending on where you're from, and where you live at. If you're, but for most of us in North America, it's coming to us during those times. It could be sometime in April. Whether you live in Canada, United States, Mexico, wherever you live, it will definitely be coming to us in April. Especially, so Crunchyroll has the rights, so it's coming to Crunchyroll in April. Definitely worth. I can't wait to watch it. I love Spy Family so much, and I've been wanting to watch this so much, and I can't wait to see it. So hopefully, but I like to be patient. I'm not into trying to, not into all that piracy stuff. Some people want to get on that and watch it. No, I want to give credit to the artist, and I will wait to do it in the right channels. Obviously, that's how I see it, because I would never want to take away from the artist and give them credit, and so I will never try to steal from them. So I won't touch the piracy stuff, but some people do, so they can see stuff earlier. But I will wait to April, even though it's killing me. This is a movie that I absolutely wish I could watch right now. So, but obviously that's big news. So definitely worth it. So next big news obviously was Demon Slayer, which Demon Slayer is doing a kind of it's not really like a movie, but it's like what they said they're doing is they're taking the last episode of the Swordsmith Village arc, and they're taking the first episode of the Hirasha training arc, and they're putting them together and making kind of a theatrical version, so people can see basically the beginning. Like you can get a sneak peek, like a tidbit of what's to come when it comes to the season, the season of the Hirasha training arc, which I don't know if it'll be like episodes like it has been before, or if it'll be like parts. There have been a lot of talk that it's going to be parts, like not episodes, but like parts more like Attack on Titan, chapters that they did when they finished at the end, because there's only so much. We're getting to the end of Demon Slayer. There's only 2 more arcs left. This one, and then 1 more after that, and then that's it. That's it. That's all. That's a wrap. Demon Slayer will be done, which will be sad because I do love Demon Slayer so much. But what I do like is we get to see an ending a lot of times in the anime, and then the creator will go on and make something else, another anime that's very, very special. Sometimes they can't top what they already done. Sometimes they will. There's a lot of creators out there that have made some really, really good work, and so I definitely look forward to seeing more Demon Slayer. I can't wait. I love Demon Slayer. Love Nezuko. Obviously, Nezuko is one of my favorites. I love Tanjiro. I love them all, but I'm definitely excited about seeing this arc. But if you want to go watch it in theaters, it is available and you can see. But just know that it's not the whole thing. It's not like you get to watch all of it. But if you can't wait to April to get the actual, which another April, right? Like I said, another time in April where the season's coming out or whatever. But right now, if you want to go, there are places that you can watch a theatrical version of Demon Slayer. So it's definitely out there for those of you that want to see it. So now, what I'm gonna switch gears here in this podcast and get a little bit more, talk about my journey with anime. How did I get into anime? How did I fall in love with anime? So I want to tell you my story and kind of let you understand a little bit more personal about myself. And so my journey in anime, obviously, I think everybody has that, like, what I've noticed is when people talk about whatever first anime that they watch, it's kind of like talking about your first love, and so most people have this great love for anime whatever anime they started with. That's kind of the anime they fall in love with. Because I know people that, the first anime they watched was My Hero Academia, so they're super into My Hero Academia. There's some that are in Dragon Ball and Naruto and things like that. For me, my journey starts with Hunter x Hunter. And so I obviously wanted to watch, my, they're not like my blood family, but they're family to me. My baby brother was always trying to get me into watch anime. He's such a big anime fan. He was always trying to get me into anime. And so, and he basically told me that there was, a lot of, LGBT characters and trans characters, and that was kind of enticing to me because, obviously I wanted to. Who doesn't want representation, right? Of themselves. So, who doesn't want that kind of, everybody wants to see themselves represented in the things that they watch or the things that they enjoy in life. And so for me, I want to see that too, obviously. So I researched, kind of basically what were some of the top trans characters out there. I researched it, looked it up, Googled it, and one of the top names that came out was obviously Alika. They mentioned her a lot. Some people mention her as one of the number one trans characters in all of anime. And if it wasn't her, then it was Lily from Zombieland Saga, which I do really love Lily. But so I saw Alika, so I decided I was going to watch Hunter x Hunter, and I was going to start watching it because I wanted to see what she was like. And so, obviously, when you start watching it, I had no idea when Alika comes in or how big of a role she played. And obviously, most of you that are Hunter x Hunter fans know that she doesn't come in like very end of the animation series. Because say there's for like DVD, Blu-ray sets, there's 7 volumes. She doesn't come into play until to the 7th volume, right at the end. But I didn't know that when I started watching it, so I decided I was going to watch it, and I really did get addicted to it. And some animes, you have to build, you have to learn things about them. But I was obviously patiently waiting for Alika and obviously Nanaka. So, and along the way, I obviously fell in love with other characters along the way. And most people probably, obviously I fell in love with, the most popular character that everybody, number one character that everybody else falls in love with, obviously, and that's Killua. I fell in love with Killua. I just fell in love with him. He's definitely the character I fell in love with the most. I do love Gon. Obviously, I'm wearing Gon colors. So, I do love Gon. And I love all Hunter x Hunter. But Killua became my favorite character. And I really loved him. And I fell in love with his growth. And I fell in love with Gon. And I fell in love with Kurapika and Leorio. And just everybody. And Hunter x Hunter, I just couldn't get enough. I just wanted to watch it all. And just keep seeing, and obviously when I first started watching, my goal was just to meet Alika and see what kind of character she was, and to see if it was worth watching. But I fell in love with Hunter x Hunter along the way, and obviously I fell in love with Killua, and then once Alika did come, I fell even more in love with Killua because of how he treats his sister. Other people misgender her, and say things about her, but Killua is a great big brother. He's there for her and caring and kind, and that made me love him more, So basically, that's kind of how my journey started into anime was I wanted to, and that's what made me fall in love with anime in the first place, was the when you watch a lot of anime, there's a lot. It doesn't matter, you know, you know what your gender is. It doesn't matter if you're non-binary. It doesn't matter if you're what your sexuality is or whatever it may be. None of those things matter. The color of your skin doesn't matter. None of those things matter. What really matters in the anime world is what kind of person you are, and that's what I wish the world was in all actuality, was just like that. That we didn't care about the things that don't really matter. We only cared about what kind of person are you. Are you a kind person? Are you a caring person? Those are the things that should matter to us, instead of caring about the things that people can't change in your life. Whatever you think about the LGBT community, if you think that these are our choices, then that's fine for you to think that. That's your opinion. But in all honesty, for me, there was never a choice, and there still isn't a choice. I know some people, it's obviously a big thing being trans and things like that, and like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. That's not what my purpose is for my stuff that I make. I'm not trying to be, I guess, political or anything in the way I want to talk about anime, but I also want to share my take on anime and the reason why I love anime. And obviously that's going to include the LGBT and the LGBT stuff that I see in anime. The relationships there's LGBT relationships and romances. There's trans characters, there's non-binary characters, just all kinds of things in anime, and that's what I love about it. So I do want to share. I am going to obviously share that because that's part of who I am, but I don't want to go down a point where that's all that it is. I just love talking about anime, and I think that all of us want to take a break from reality or the world and not think about everything that is going on in the world. We want to break from it, and we want to just talk about things that we love and things that we're passionate about. And so that's me with anime. I just want to talk about anime and share, but I do want to obviously share the reasons why I love these things and share a part of myself in that sense. So no matter where you stand on that line, this is the reason why I kind of started into anime and why I love anime. And there's so many LGBT characters out there, trans characters, non-binary characters, and gay, lesbians, bi, all kinds of different things out there in the spectrum. And so I just really love that about anime, and the acceptance, and just the world that I wish we actually lived in. That's what I like about the anime world, is you're judged by the kind of character you have and nothing else. So that's kind of my journey. I just want to obviously share that with you on the first podcast episode that I'm doing here. And then obviously I always want to do something for fun. And so, like I said, at the end of this, I want to talk about something that's unique and, kind of gear back to something that's just fun to end the podcast with. And so obviously I want to kind of end with kind of anime crushes. Who people have as anime crushes, which a lot of people have different anime crushes and people that they're into, obviously, and stuff like that. Depending on again, depending on your your sexuality, you may not be attracted to. You may only be attracted, if you're straight, you're attracted to girls or guys or whatever. If you're bi or whatever. Like I said, for me personally, I'm pan, so it's more geared on to what kind of person someone is instead of their gender. So, obviously, when I'm attracted to certain people in animes, that's kind of how it goes for me. I don't know why. I'm just like, I don't know. There's something about that character that I'm just like, I'm just in love with them. And one of those characters, obviously, is my inspiration for being the Master Shinobi, and obviously is Kakashi. And I freaking love Kakashi. Um, you know, who doesn't love him? Come on, tell me that. How many people out there? Come on, tell me that he's not one of your crushes. I have 4 people right now that are I'm gonna share with you that are kind of some of my anime crushes. Okay, so Kakashi is like one of the top ones for me, like one of the top ones because I mean, come on. I mean, if you watch Naruto, especially when you watch Naruto Shippuden and things like that, I mean, come on. Am I the only one? I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. I don't think I'm the only one that loves Kakashi. Maybe I am, but I don't think I am. So, the other one, obviously everybody has a crush on too, is Gojo. I mean, how can you not love Gojo? Those eyes are what do it for me. Like his eyes, I do like his confidence too. Like that's what I do like about Gojo. Some people think he's too cocky or whatever, but I see it as he's confident. He's confident in himself. He knows his abilities. He knows that he's strong. And those eyes, though, man, they just do it for you. I could look into those eyes forever. So yeah, Gojo. And obviously Gojo was kind of inspired. The creator kind of took inspiration off of Kakashi. So it kind of makes sense that someone who's in the Kakashi would also be in the Gojo. The only difference is, obviously you see the bottom of his face and not the top. And then, so they switch it around and he covers his eyes or whatever. Which, like I said, but when he shows you those eyes, it's definitely worth it, right? Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. So, then I have a crush on Bisky from Hunter x Hunter in her true form. I guess I just like strength, and I think that she is beautiful in her true form. Even though she has problems, I can relate to that. Obviously, with having problems with your body and not liking how you look. Obviously, I can relate to that. So I could definitely relate to her and those issues. But I like her in her true form. Hey, I have a crush on Bisky. I like someone that's strong and has strength, which is the reason why my last one. If you haven't watched Black Clover, obviously you probably wouldn't know, but Mary Leona is, she's just super strong and doesn't care about nothing, doesn't care about anybody's opinions. She doesn't care what your status is. Like, she will grab you and carry you away, and she's just a fiery redhead, and how can you not love that? So she's definitely one of my crushes. So these are 4 of my crushes, obviously Bisky, Mary Leona, Gojo, and Kakashi. So, tell me who your crushes are. Who's an anime crush for you? So let me know. Let me know what your anime crushes are. I definitely like to hear those, and definitely share with me maybe what your favorite anime is. Share that with me. Tell me what your first anime was. I would definitely love to hear what your first anime that you watched was. What your anime crushes are. I would definitely love to hear those things. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're into looking for a good energy source, obviously it says up in the corner that I'm a Rogue affiliate. I'm an affiliate with Rogue Energy. If you've not heard about Rogue Energy, to me it's the world, just like they say, they're the world's best tasting gaming fuel, which I agree. I've already finished all mine today. My energy, that's how I start my morning. I don't drink coffee or anything like that. I start my morning with Rogue Energy. Right now, I definitely love the blood orange. It's like, it's such a great flavor. And so definitely get Rogue Energy. And it does, like, have you ever had those powder like energies that they get so chalky, and then like when you're drinking, all of a sudden you get like a chunk of powder in your mouth. That's always gross. This doesn't happen with this. It's like dissolves instantly once you hit it. You give it a little shake, and then you're all set. So But if you definitely want to get some Rogue Energy, go to rogueenergy.com and use the code Firehawk to save 10% each and every time you shop. I would be greatly appreciative of that as well. And I think that you would, if you're going to use energy drinks, this natural energy, so it's not going to help. You're not going to crash. There's no sugars in it. There's none of that stuff that you find in those other terrible energy drinks. They also have hydration. It's definitely one of a kind product, and definitely worth getting. So go ahead and go to rogueenergy.com and use the code Firehawk each and every time to save 10%. I would greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate you joining me here today on this podcast, and I'll see you next time, next Monday, right here on The Masked Shinobi.